Hi, I'm Michelle Graves, and welcome to today's segment of The Power of Money. As always, I'm delighted to be in your world and expand your information so that you can make good, sound decisions for yourself and for your family. Today's program is a very, very special program, and as you will note, I'm in my African garb, and this is with good reason because this outfit was made for me by my women in Burkina Faso, West Africa, where the West Africa Women's Initiative is involved in changing the lives of women in West Africa. As a part of our initiative, we manufacture from beginning to end pure laboratory tested shea butter. And for those of you that don't know what shea butter is, and in America they say shea butter, but shea butter is an awesome fruit seed oil that comes from a tree that dates back over 2,000 years. That is correct. It's called the karité tree. And this tree has been producing amazing seed oils going back to the time of Queen Cleopatra. In fact, this tree has such a notoriety for skin healing, skin restoration, and skin renewal that it is a high demand item in cosmetics. Anecdotes tell us that Cleopatra's tomb was filled with jars of this precious oil. I guess she was determined that she was not going to be ugly in her afterlife. So same thing with Queen Nefertiti and other dignitaries all over the world. Caravans took this precious oil all over. So it has an illustrious history. It comes from a tree whose bark, when a dignitary dies, to be buried in the wood from the shea tree or the karité tree is considered such a kingly or queenly honor. So it is with great pride and delight that I share with you on this program segment, My World. A lot of you have asked, well, what do you really do? What really excites you? And I tell folks, of course, the world of money is what I'm trained in. It's what I know. I could probably do most of the mechanics in my sleep. But I'm here to tell all of you that are viewing my show today that money gives you the freedom to change lives. Money is not a vehicle for you to accumulate stuff. Why? Because I've never met a herd that had a bank attached to it. So money is currency, and it has to move and it has to flow. The money that you have gives you great freedom and liberty to bless other people, to expand and facilitate your hopes and dreams. So money is not something to be taken lightly. The lack of money, however, is where most of the world stands. And certainly in the little nation of Burkina Faso, West Africa, which is just north of Ghana, and it's wedged between the countries of Mali and Niger, this country is the poorest country in Africa today. Burkina Faso, the land of the upright people, that's what the name means, is responsible for producing the highest quality shea oil on the globe. It has to do with the topography and the land. It just, and you know what? That's powerful because that country does not have any other resources except these trees. And there are literally thousands of these trees all over this country. You can't transplant the tree. The French tried it. When the French occupied this little country, they were fascinated with this fruit seed oil as well and wanted to capitalize on it in use for European chocolate. That's correct. The oil is what keeps the chocolate soft. And there are legalities regarding how much of the shea oil can be used, but nonetheless, it is right there in that European dark chocolate. If you will look at the ingredient list, you will see that people do consume it internally. That is how amazing it is. But this poor little country that essentially the average wage is $1 a month, not $1 a day, $1 a month. And these people are struggling. So my concern, my involvement, my commitment was to get the word out, to create an economic infrastructure, because you know I am an economist by training. So, and to enable these people to improve the quality of their lives, women and their children especially. The number of children in Burkina Faso, excuse me, please. I'm dealing with summer allergies. Anyway, the number of children in Burkina Faso that are orphans because their mothers died in childbirth is astronomical. And when I say childbirth, the birthing equipment is not clean. I was very fortunate to have the Rotary Club of Cincinnati Blue Ash chapter to donate a sizable amount of money to facilitate the acquisition of proper, clean, sterile equipment for their clinics that would allow children to be born without their mothers dying. So these are simple things that we take so much for granted in the United States. However, again, as I said, money is a currency. And if you have an opportunity to do something wonderful and awesome for someone else, particularly people that don't have means, you should avail yourself. As I said again, the majority of the world has nothing. They struggle to have housing. Clothing is worn or non-existent. Many children wear nothing. They're naked. Water is not clean. These are things that we take for granted, again, in the United States. You go to the bathroom, you flush it. You don't really concern yourself with where the water goes. You don't concern yourself with where the water comes from, that you drink out of the tap water. But these are all products of very, very sophisticated infrastructures that are part and parcel of our living experience in a civilized country in the Western world. That is not the case in so many countries, especially in Africa, but even so in South America, in Brazil, Argentina, Chile, Honduras, also in Asia. And so when you really understand that this is fundamentally more than just money, it's a heart issue, it's about making the decision to invest in the lives of other people, because, listeners and viewers, whether you like it or not, the human race is all of us. Some of us, by grace and grace alone, were birthed in communities where we had opportunities and advantages. So I'm going to share with you my world. This is what makes me excited. It's a 10-year work. It's been a lot of pain, a lot of trials, a lot of growing up for me. I am grateful for so much today, and I look forward to taking you into my world and giving you some insights that would be helpful to you to understand why I ask your support, and if nothing more, your prayers, because this has to happen. We know that times are tough in the United States, but can you imagine never, ever, ever going to bed not hungry? Or never having clean, safe water, or never having adequate provisions for you and your family? Can you imagine a life like that forever? Well, I'm here to tell you, I couldn't imagine it either, but here we are today. So I want to share with you a little bit about this fascinating nut. They call it shea butter in the United States. I call it shea oil because it is an oil from a fruit seed. It's not an oil from a nut. It kind of, by parallelism, think about a peach. And when you open the peach, inside of the peach is a hard nut. But if you crack inside that nut, there is a seed. And inside of that seed is everything that the fruit tree has provided for the next generation. In like manner, the shea oil comes from a fruit tree, and the fruit tree produces fruit 3 times during the summer, and that fruit inside of it has a hard-covered nut, and inside of that nut is this very precious seed that has highest concentration of vitamin A on the earth, has antioxidants, anti-inflammatories, a sunscreen. Yes, the tree grows at 120 degrees. Can you believe that? Whew! So you know that that tree has provided a venue for the seed that's in there to survive. So again, just trying to give you a little bit of history so that you will have a little bit of clarity as we go on and talk about this subject today. And by all means, sit down and just enjoy this show, because it is my privilege and honor to talk about this to you and to let you know how you might be a part of my world, because it is a powerful world. I get solicitations daily and regularly from people wanting me to lead initiatives, to take the mantle and show people how to be millionaires. The key thing here is you want to make sure, and when I tell people I have no interest in teaching anyone how to be a millionaire, I am interested in changing a world system that starves children and makes their mothers impotent, unable to feed and clothe them, keeps their fathers in mental bondage. That to me is much more powerful than teaching a lot of people how to become rich and buy bigger homes. That's not what I'm about. Been there, done that, and as I tell folks, I will not disparage your dreams nor speak against your desires, but I do believe that this is something that God has mandated that I do, and I have done it, and it has been tough. But as I was saying going back, this is an amazing tree with a history of over 2,000 years, and this is truly, truly, truly a remarkable oil. Not only does it heal any damaged skin, burns, scarring, radiation and chemotherapy, but it also addresses diabetic ulcers. It also addresses eczema, of which I am an eczema survivor. Eczema is a genetic skin disorder. And bottom line, it is what it is. And so this was the only product that created just healing for my skin. And as you can see, at 60 going on 61, I have wonderful skin. You would not believe for 1 minute that my skin was patchy, itchy, oozing, and just disgusting. But again, it's considered nature's skin healer. And again, I share with people, if you have a burn, you put it on, and almost immediately, the burn is gone. Same thing if you're dealing with scarring from surgical procedures, including breast cancer. And this thing is absolutely amazing. So I want to just share with you just a little bit today so that you can get an insight about what it does for you and how you can begin to change your world and help my women and children who have sacrificed so much. When I wear this outfit, I have to remember that it was a great financial sacrifice that they were able to provide me with this clothing. Why? Because this represents money they don't have. So when they gave this to me, this is an expression of sacrificial love. I really mean it. $1 a month is where you are. So again, getting back to the oil, goes back almost 2,000 years, has an illustrious history spanning queens, kings, nations. It's now being used in various products, including European chocolates. It's used in lotions and cosmetics, and I have my opinion on that because what's being used over here is not a pure product. It's been adulterated, but nonetheless, you will see the term in many of your advertisements as this product has shea butter. And so you say, oh my goodness, it's got shea butter, but I need you to understand that what's in that product is not what's coming off that tree. Things get really, really changed during the manufacturing process. I'm only interested in the pure, unprocessed, laboratory tested oil that can provide you with profound skin healing, no matter what your conditions. That is exactly where my world is. And I want to thank you for listening in on this subject. Let's talk about some of the things that can help a nation when you're talking about bringing about change. When you buy this oil through the website Sheology.com, SHEOLOGY.com, you will be assisting these women on a direct basis to earn income, to help their schools to sustain, and to provide a future for their children. That is very important to me. In America, our young people have the latitude and the freedom to do their own thing. But that is not the case in countries where their very livelihood is at stake and at question. So here we are today. And here we are today. And why am I so adamant that we begin to attend to the needs of others and stop being so selfish about ourselves? And I know you're saying, oh, no, that's not true. Americans are very generous. We fight in wars. We die for people. And I say to folks, I don't know if I can agree with that. I will say we fight in wars to pursue political and economic agendas for our country, specifically for the moneyed class who benefit from controlling these other countries. We need to look at that carefully and proceed on. But I want you to watch this video. I've not aired this video publicly, but you need to know that it takes 20 hours of hard work to make 2 pounds of pure shea butter. We'll be right back.
That's a shea nut tree. I picked up several shea nuts underneath of it without the fruit. In this particular village, the nuts are softened for crushing by boiling them or cooking them in hot water. We have no way of knowing what the temperature is of the water that they're cooking them in at this time.
Now, what we are looking at now is of the nut. The first action. Now, this is unique for this area. You need to remember processing is not uniform. As you move from one area to the next, there are varying differences and varying steps. Here,
These are the shea nuts that have been taken out of the pulp and are washed and ready to be crushed, or not crushed, but the nut taken out of the shell. Okay, go ahead. Very good. Taking the shea nut out of the shell.
The shea nut, after it's been removed from the shell,
Now they're going to break open the shea nut shells.
Shells. We started off like that, and it was crushed, as you saw with the ladies. These are the shells that it crushes into, and it gives rise to this seed that is inside the nut. And these are the broken shells that were crushed open to inside this nut. And again, this seed and all the seeds in this preparation looks very good. Very good. C'est bon? Très bien? Okay. Very a nice electric fan.
Okay.
Excellent. Meters onto a conveyor belt with the with a fan blowing away the crushed seeds.
Great.
A sterilizing solution here for further cleaning the nuts and seed correction. For further cleaning the seed solution, we're going to use 1 bottle of bleach and 1 bottle of bleach and add 19 bottles of water, and that will be the formula for the cleaning solution. Again, bottle of bleach and 19 bottles of water, and there we will wash the nuts in that solution and then rinse them several times to remove any bleach residue organism. The nuts in the cleaning solution. This cleaning solution again is 1 part of bleach and 19 parts of water. Bleach and 19 bottles of water, or 1 liter of bleach and 19 liters of water.
It's very important that the nuts be
as long as you use the formula, which is a 1 part of bleach to 19 parts of water. Now the nuts have been washing solution, and now we must rinse them and wash them well in solution, of the residual cleansing solution from the seeds. From this point on, if I should say nuts, I'm really saying, it should be saying seed. We're finished with the nut. The nut always has a shell on it, and in that shell is a seed. And we've already collected that seed as we shown back earlier. It is now being rinsed and washed to remove any residual cleaning solution adhering to first wash, and then she has a second wash. Second wash. This is a second wash that removes any residual on the seed. Appearance to the seed. Now you might notice these seeds have changed colors tremendously. Shea seeds that's going to give this wonderful butter no evidence of mold or any other kind of contamination. Know that this is wonderful. Zebo, Trebing. Trebing. Yes. And this is perhaps the most laborious part of this process. I mean, the most laborious part of making shea butter is this pounding and crushing. And
all the bullets. All the bullet.
This has been already done.
Yes, the bullet. The bullet and the. The seed is partially crushed. This is a coarse of at this point about the size of cornmeal, or a little but you could see that the women doing an excellent job here of crushing. Still some sizable particles, but pretty much well crushed. And what we're going to do now is melt the oil so that it can, and the end product is going to be a paste. Now, at some stages, this is called roasting, where the oil from the seed, and that's what we're doing now. And you're going to see a little different from other procedures. Others will roast the nut first before crushing, and that the crush process is a paste. Here, they crush, release the oil. Other villages will release the oil by roasting and then crush. Again, I repeat. Elsewhere, they will roast the nut, they will roast the seed and then crush the seed to make a paste. Okay? Right? Well, the good scholar who knows the melting point of shea butter will tell you the temperature that the oil is released. And they are now trying to break open and burst open all of the oil vacuoles. Within the cell, if you look at the anatomy of the oil is kept in little packages, little vacuoles, and you got to break them open. Now that it's been melted, when you break them open, they can run out. The oil can now run out to the surface. If you don't break them open, the oil within, if
breaking everything. Often people do it with machine, but here they do it hand.
Okay, now do
okay.
Yeah, this is a step also of opening those cells to release the oil that is trapped with intracellularly. If you don't break these open, again, your yield is going to be reduced. This is the one to get every little penny out of the seed. You got the seeds here, you're working, you might as well get it all right now. Doesn't make sense to throw it away.
The butter is going out, you can see. Now adding more water and the butter is going out.
They're now washing the shea butter in clean water. Okay, the shea butter is now being heated and at the same time melted.
C'est bon ou bien?
Heating temperature varies from extractor to extractor, region to region.
She's separating the oil from the water now for more cooking of it. This is what the oil looks like being separated. One more. Wait. She's again skimming some of the impurities off the top of the butter at this time. During the skimming process, you can see the pure shea butter now underneath. Again, the shea butter, this is the second heating process. Pour. And now the shea butter is siphoned through a screen. Usually they use cloth, but this time we're using a small screen. And then I'll change cameras. Okay, let me get... I'm going. Go ahead.
Now this is the oil that is just cooked. This is actually shea butter. It's nice and warm. On the fire will look like this after it heats and cooks for some time. Experiment the oil. Now, if you look in the bottom of this pot that she's now pouring, you will see a lot of particulate matter there.
A picture. All right, hold on. Okay.
Wasn't that fascinating? Most people that watch that video email me, text me, and many times just simply call me and say, I had no idea that that is how this butter is made. Now, mind you, there are over 2,500 women that are involved in this initiative. And again, it is hard work. It's 120 degrees over there. Yes, that's hot, hard work. The other thing is that this is not the primary occupation for so many of these women. They still have to raise families, they still have to grow crops, and they still have to attend to the needs of their community. In Africa and in most of the world, life circles around your village or your community. And there's a hierarchy and an order in the village that goes back hundreds and hundreds of years. It's not like America where you got children here and family people here. The village is literally where everything begins and ends. So these women are making great sacrifice to take time out to do this. Typically, we will have 20 women working in a team to make the product. And then after the product is finished, we're not done because we have to send that product to a laboratory in the United States to make sure that the product is clean, it's safe, it does not have biocontaminants because again, because a product is organic does not mean that it is safe and clean. For the record, arsenic is natural, but try that in your tummy. So we have to send it into a facility, have it tested to make sure that there are no problems with the product, that it is highest quality, highest grade. And I am pleased to say that we have literally broken all records for the quality of the product. Yes, for a fact, it is more expensive because it is a pure, unchemically processed product that has all of its vitamins intact, including that amazing vitamin A, but also a profound matrix of phytosterols. And these things are very, very helpful with skin problems. They also, because of the oil's characteristics, it actually regenerates cells below your skin. So for those who have suffered with all kinds of skin maladies, and I would venture to say that the majority of people today are experiencing problems with their skin. Why? Because we use salt on everything. We eat it in our food. We shower with it, that's known as chlorine. We use soaps that have sodium, antibacterial, chemicals, and as a result, the poor little skin, which is the largest organ on your body, is screaming, "Help me, you're killing me!" And boom, we have all these awful things on our face and on our bodies. We subject our skin from birth to death to sun. Many people do not know that you are supposed to keep your babies oiled from birth. And then they want to know why, after 30 years of putting nothing on their skin is wrinkling. Well, even in a best case scenario, if you don't put anything on human tissue and you subject it to salts and weather conditions and radiation from the sun and radiation from your cell phone and radiation from the utility lines and radiation from the satellites beaming around all over you, you're going to have some crazy looking stuff going on. But I've got great news for all of you. There is an answer, and that answer is over 2,000 years old, and that is the amazing medical strength shea oil. Laboratory tested, certified, hand processed carefully by our women with profits, the largest percent going back to help them and their families. I can't think of anything more worthwhile. It does not mean that it has not been a challenge. It's been a challenge because there's a lot of shea butter out here, and it's yellow and it's gooey and it even has hair on it from fungus. And people buy it scooped up. They actually believe that the shea is in a big watermelon. And I tell folks that watermelon, known as a calabash, is rotten. and yet you would allow somebody to touch a product with their hands, scoop it and give it to you, or you'll buy it in some kind of a odd store and think that, oh, this is real, real, real good stuff. And I'm here to tell you again, love yourself enough to get the good, proper information. And this is again what the power of money is about, giving you good information so that you can make the right decisions for you and your family. I am a strong proponent of this oil. As a fact, I have researched and worked with many other seed oils, and I love them as well. But this tree has such a stellar story and such a long history. And again, as we find ourselves at this time in history dealing with real issues with the ozone layer, real issues with radiation, real issues with eczema going crazy. I mean, eczema has gone crazy, along with rosacea, psoriasis, and all kinds of things that can be traced back in large part to our eating habits, eating food that it's been so refined, so processed, so poorly handled, and it's a wonder that we truly even have any skin. That's the truth. So I just want to kind of bring you into this because you need to know. And the next time you think about perhaps making this purchase, and I do encourage you to do so, at least you'll know why. Because the most common question that I have asked of me by people is, why is this product so expensive? And I say, it's all a matter of interpretation. In the world today, you have many opportunities to shop and buy things. You can shop at Walmart where you expect deep discounts, but by the same token, you don't expect Walmart to market the top of the line product. That's not why you shop at Walmart. If you shop at your higher end stores, you expect a better quality product. You expect the product to meet certain tests in terms of acceptability, and you are prepared to pay more. If you go into shop in your finer stores such as Nordstrom's or Neiman Marcus and you look a little uncomfortable, they will tell you that maybe this is not where you should be. So I share with everyone that if you are interested in real life healing, that you will pay more because it simply costs more. And be prepared to be extremely pleased because it will do exactly what I've said it will do. You can go to the website, www.sheology.com. This has been a life pursuit for me. I am not going to stop doing this until I see the people in that country economically stabilized. I know we're in tough times. But don't tell me that there are not the resources, financial resources, that would enable them to benefit and to improve the quality of their lives and their children, which are so near and dear to me. Children are everything to me. And so I want to make sure that they have an opportunity to go away to college, to become entrepreneurs, even good teachers, to be able to raise children that are not hungry. That means a lot to me. That is what I feel is my God purpose, and it has kept me on point for many, many years, despite a lot of resistance from people who don't see the vision. And that's, you know, that's what it is. I can't stop what other people see. But let it be said and let it be known that I do not believe that when my years are concluded and prayerfully and hopefully I am able to cross over into heaven and see the King himself, I really don't think he's going to be asking the question how much money and how many cars and how big my house was. I don't think so. I think he's going to be asking, did I use my resources to bless and help the less fortunate? Was I compassionate? Was I caring? Was I willing to go a little bit further? As one woman said to me, and it irritated me, she says, well, I just can't be inconvenienced. And I said to her, you remember those words, because it is a fact. If you live in this life, when you go out to help people, you are going to be inconvenienced. It's just the way it is. But as you begin to embrace and to understand what love is really about, that love is about an action. It's not just about a saying. Then you can begin to step into the realm of just what I call goodness. And so I'm excited about, like I said, bringing you into my world, which is an amazing world. And I'm so incredibly grateful. I say this from my heart. I am so grateful that I have been allowed the distinct privilege to be a part of this piece. And if in any way I've been able to help them, no matter small, I'm okay with that. My challenge with those of you that are watching today is, as you look at the world of money, and many of you are going through some things with less money, try to put yourself in a position that says that I am probably better off than most of the world. I can assure you, in this great, great country called America, the notion of being poor is really kind of subjective, because there are people all over the world who are desperately poor. Their children eat out of garbage cans. They dispose of their children when they're young. And there is a whole class of children known as Grinches whose parents have disposed of them at 2 years old. And they're out here foraging and digging for food. This is where the world is today. Many of them enter into prostitution at very young ages because pedophilia may be a crime in the United States. But pedophilia is not a crime in most of the world. So we have all of these things taking place with our males and our females. My commitment is that the Shea Butter Project become part and parcel of the beginning of an economic infrastructure for a country that desperately needs hope, needs to know that they are in fact a good people and a godly people. And I just wanted to say one other thing that moved me, because there are many countries in Africa, but I will say this. Burkina Faso is the only country in Africa that has not entered into trade agreements with the People's Republic of China. They are still trading partners with Taiwan. Now, that may not mean a lot to you, but I can tell you this. If you want to see what has happened with trade relationships with China, you have but to go to Ghana, where you will find that the Chinese literally are now printing and manufacturing all of the African prints. They did not hire and retain the services of the people of Ghana, but brought in their own workers. That is not the case in Burkina. The other thing is Burkina Faso is a Christian country, and that means a lot to me as well. So all of these things paint a story of a remarkable country, a remarkable people, experiencing very difficult times. And I would hope that I could consider you as a partner, that you will consider the information I've given you, that you will not buy product on the street, you will not buy product that cannot be proven to be safe and clean and tested, because trust me, fungus, lead, heavy metals, copper, all of these contaminants can be a part of that product if the manufacturing and the harvesting and the processing is not very carefully oversighted. I know what I'm talking about, okay? So I just encourage you to have an amazing day. Pray for the women of Burkina Faso and pray for the people of West Africa. I'm Michelle Graves, and thank you for being a part of my world today.